JoJo's Bizarre Adventures is responsible for so much iconic music. We've talked about Cowboy Bebop in the past. We've talked about Gundam Thunderbolt. We've talked about so much great music in various anime, and this is no exception. Woo-hoo! Whoa! That is some lead playing right there. Listen to that. Woo! Let's listen to what's going on here. G minor 7 chord. Ba, ba. See, when you're listening for chord changes, you want to listen for individual notes that you can pick out. Now, sometimes it's hard because obviously when we're hearing a massive band playing at you all at once, you're not necessarily going to hear every individual note, but there are certain things that you can pick out that can be clues as to what's happening harmonically. So in the beginning there, I clearly heard that flat 7, that, and I could hear that the rest of it was implying this G minor sound. So something like that. There's enough information there for me to derive that it's definitely G minor 7. Ba ba. Da. This is sitting on the top pretty much the whole time, I think. Ba da 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 ba ba ba. So if we take that into consideration, I think it's that. I think it's 1, flat 6, 5. And you can hear, so that's why it's so important to listen for individual notes, right? Because that one note there tells us that this chord is a D7 flat 9. That's an important detail about the upper extensions of that chord. But we also have that note too, so that tells us it's flat 9 and sharp 9. Dig that, check that out. That's a cool sound. There it is, there's the anime chord progression. Right, we have 1, and then we have flat 6, flat 7, back to the 1. We actually did a video all about that, check it out. I love big band just in general, so to hear it used in so many different anime is just such like a cool application of that sound. It's got this chaotic nature to it, check it out, like so. Wow. We're on G minor, so we're just kind of hanging out here. This is like our intro, and then we get into our thing. So it sounds like we're just doing like a G minor to a well, how do you look at this, right? Because that could be looked at as an E flat major chord, right? Because we have, I mean, look at this. That's E flat major, purely. And we just have this in the bass. So we're going from here to here. Some people might consider it a G minor sharp 5, which is totally valid as well, because you're taking that 5th and you're moving it up by a half step. You're making it sharp, so that's the sharp 5. That would work too. Also, it could be an E flat major chord just with the 3rd in the bass instead of the root in the bass. Different ways to look at it. It kind of achieves the same thing, but I mean, that we know is like very common usage in stuff like that. A lot of movies, a lot of spy theme. Big news, the brand new Ultimate Intro Bundle is now live, including the brand new latest offering from the Cornell Music Academy, Intro to Theory. It's currently in its pre-sale phase, but the Ultimate Intro Bundle is going to get you our Intro to Piano course, our Intro to Improv course, and the brand new Intro to Theory course. 3 of our biggest courses, over 10 hours of instruction, over 300 videos. And you guys can get it right now for $99 at the link in the description down below. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. There's our flat 6, flat 7, 1. Woo, wait. We're defining a mode here in this part of the verse, because before we were kind of doing this thing. So that might feel like right? A G minor natural minor, so G Aeolian if we're using its Greek mode name. So that is telling us, it's giving us this feeling of like, hey, if we just randomly threw that in there, it would be a little strange, perhaps, but as we move forward in the verse, we get that change in mode. And what that does is now we've said, okay, well, now we're not using the E flat as our sixth, we're now using E natural, which changes the mode. Take a look at the shape of these scales. We can either use what we were using at the beginning when we have our chords going. That shape looks like this. Now, in order to get da 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 that we hear in the melody right here, we have to change the sixth. We can no longer have a flat sixth, which is what occurs in G Aeolian or G natural minor. Instead, we have to change this sixth to a natural. And now we have what's called the Dorian mode. This is G Dorian. It's a different mode, just made up of a different combination of whole steps and half steps, as all scales are. But that's the only difference between those two sounds. We have this, and we have this. But check out how different it makes each of these sections sound. Take that! Whoa! This is really interesting. It goes E flat major, and then finds its way back to G minor, right? So we feel like we're kind of going, oh, this is almost like a bridge section, like a second section, right? Then we get this A flat major chord, and it dumps us back down to G, but instead of being G minor, which is where we've been this whole time, we get this major chord, almost like it's setting up something else. Check it out. That is so cool. It's chaotic, but in the best way possible, you know what I mean? Oh. What's going on? Hold on. It just throws a bunch of stuff at your brain, and it's like, here, figure this out. And you have to go, okay, what am I listening to? We have 5 against 4, because the guitar, da-da-da-da. Pretty sure the tempo's here, right? Let me listen again. That's what I'm hearing. And then we have. What is going on there? See, it could be da 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 da, and it would work, and that would just be an eighth note triplet. But it's not that. It's more elongated than that. It's like this: 1, 2, 3, and. Oh, it's so hard to do. Wait, 2, 3, and. It doesn't quite line up. It's not. Right? It's more elongated than that. And that's because I'm pretty sure we're dealing with groupings of 5s. In the same amount of time that we would have 2 quarter note beats, so 4 eighth notes, 1 and 2 and. We have 5, a group of 5 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's hard. Whoa. Woo! This is wild. How have I never heard this before? Oh my God. Yeah, so I can still hear that line going underneath the saxophone solo. And boy, to me it sounds like 5s. It sounds like it's only separated by, like if you added one more note of the exact same length, because he's playing 4 notes, da 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 da, or whatever the notes are. Right? If you add one more, it should line up, but it sounds like 5s to me, which is what makes that line sound almost wonky in a sense, because it's not totally falling into the pulse, because we have this pulse and everything pretty much is divided up. It's like evenly with 8th notes and 16th notes and stuff, but this isn't. This is so wild. Now I'm starting to hear it like 3, 4. If I were to tighten it up, part of me wants to hear it like 3. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen here. Now it kind of sounds like that. This is what's weird about hearing stuff like this, is like, depending on the context, your ear might be latching onto different areas of the measure if you're not totally sure like where one is or how exactly to count it. Woo! Wow! Oh my God, that saxophone section, like probably 5 saxophones playing together, coupled with the distortion of the guitar. What a sound! This is just an all-out attack on the senses. Yikes. Yes! Wow! That is so cool! The combination of the synthesizers, like those dropouts, it's almost like a break, like a quick break where you might hear in more traditional big band music, you might expect to hear like a drum fill or something. And no, it's just this distorted saw synth, just like blaring. That is so cool! Oh, what a chord! What a chord. There's something going on in there harmonically that makes it hit even harder. Let me figure out what it is. This is what brilliant counterpoint does. Check it out. At the same time that the main melody. Okay, so the main melody goes dum, ba, da, 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 right? And then at the same time we have this. Yes! Brilliant counterpoint. All in this A flat minor space, right? Ooh, it's too good. That is absolutely incredible. And of course, this video is not gonna be complete unless we talk about this. I mean, this went through possibly one of the craziest meteoric rises in terms of the popularity of a particular anime theme. The part I want to talk about is that's beautiful. So we can clearly hear in the bass lines and stuff like that, we can hear what this is doing. It's going, let's just take the bass note, for example. This right here is perhaps one of the most common jazz chord progressions of all time. 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. I mean, it's literally in everything. But in this case, we've flipped it minor. If you were to play that same thing in minor, now, those are all playing the chords mostly entirely stock, meaning I haven't made any alterations to the upper extensions. I haven't indicated that there's any specific things like a flat 9 somewhere or a sharp 9 or any type of alteration that we might hear when we listen to this. Now, some of those things are defined by the melody, which is really cool. So we have. This is the first thing that tells us, okay, what's going on here? How do we define this? Well, we have a C sharp and we have an F. It's telling us that probably this is going to be what we call a secondary dominant, which normally this chord, you would expect it to be minor. But in this case, our melody tells us that it's this. But then it immediately changes. It goes. So we get 3 notes there that are very interesting in this C sharp land, right? We get the major third, the minor third, and the flat 9. And then it changes to the next chord, which is F sharp 7. If we are talking about what do each of these notes mean? Well, there's two ways to look at them. Either they are important notes that contain information about the chord itself, or they are what we call passing tones, which is really just a note to get us from one place to another, and it's not really meant to be looked at as an essential piece of information defining what the harmony is actually doing. If we call it a passing tone, we could simply say that those two notes, E and D, are getting us just to the C sharp, and that's really the only purpose they serve. That would be a valid approach. We call this a dominant chord, and we say it's just going sharp 9, flat 9, just as a passing tone, and that's fine too. But then we have this. We go right back up to that D and that E. So the D and the E are playing interesting roles in both of these chords, both C sharp and in F sharp as well. In F sharp 7, this is our flat 13 to our dominant 7th. In C sharp, that's our flat 9 and our sharp 9. Both are really interesting chord tones. They're really interesting upper extension alterations that we can make and that are very commonly found in minor chord progressions, which is exactly what we have here. That's really nice. I mean, it's just epic, right? When we have this highly developed look at that! That's so cool! If you've ever wanted to start learning how to play the piano and learn about music while you do it, we just launched the biggest product we've ever created on the Cornell Music Academy. The Ultimate Intro Bundle contains 3 courses: our Intro to Piano course, which is our longtime bestseller. It also includes the Intro to Improv course and our brand new latest offering, Intro to Theory. This bundle is going to take you right from the very beginning. If you've never even played the piano before and you wanted to start learning, the Intro to Piano course is going to give you that initial skill set, and then you can move right on to Intro to Theory, where we're going to add some context to the things that you learned. We're gonna help you understand more about, hey, once we actually figure out how to play this instrument, what is it that we're actually playing? How is all that stuff built? And then once you've covered playing the instrument and a little bit about music, we're gonna teach you how to take those skills and learn how to play anything you wanna play on the fly with our Intro to Improvisation course. If you've always just felt stuck and you never really knew where to start, this is a great place for you to start. It's over 10 hours of instruction and over 300 videos, including tons of exercises and actionable steps and examples, along with downloadable resources, custom backing tracks, so many of the things that you're gonna be able to apply and practice for years to come. You guys, this would be well over a $300 value, but this special pre-sale pricing as we launch Intro to Theory and for our fall sale, this is gonna be a 3-course bundle for just 99 bucks. Once you buy it, you have access to the material for life. Take advantage of this while you can. This is a very, very limited time offer. Once again, that's the Ultimate Intro Bundle, and it is available at the link down in the description below. You have until the end of the month to take advantage of this offer, so jump on it now and get access to these courses. The Intro to Theory course is still in pre-sale, but the full thing will release on November 7th. But you won't have to do anything else. You'll just get access to the rest of the course material, and then you'll have it forever. So if you're interested, it's the best way you can start learning how to play the piano, and it's the best way you can support the channel so that we can continue doing what we love to do, which is creating this content for you guys. So thank you so much for your support. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We have a blast making them. I'm glad you're here, and we will see you in the next one.